shake off the stuns if needed with the ultimate and knock her away. But also the Camille we've seen often picked into the Ambessa can outscale in the late game. But also just really solidifies this theme for HLE's composition. It is all dive with this comp, very in theme with the other picks. And if we're talking anti-dive picks, the Mordekaiser coming in, really effective. If like Kai'Sa ults in or Camille goes in, Mordekaiser can just press ultimate on them and deny them. And also, they move the Ambessa to mid. Chovy, no stranger to playing typically top lane picks in the mid lane. Obviously, we've seen a decent amount of Ambessa mid, but I'm sure he's pretty confident. And it means that mid jungle, Ambessa and Italy, both mobile, but also different damage types. I think it gives a bit more strength there.
Yeah, and you pick the Ambessa first. I think you don't want to play that into the Camille. You gave HANWAH the counter pick for the top lane, so you want to match it up with the Yone, and that allows you to pick something that, you know, this is part of why Red Set, I think, does have a lot of value. Number one. Game number one of the LCK Cup Finals begins now. Our first one ever with our new format this year. And of course, we get these two teams back in the mix. We do have some different players here compared to 2024 finals. Obviously, it was Dorn instead of Zeus for the side of HaNWAH Esports in the top lane, but also the bottom lane of Gen.G has totally changed as Ruler and Duro do enter the mix here for Gen.G.
I feel like the early game is going to be really important in this one. The fact that you have this Nidalee, who obviously you want to leverage those early advantages, but also just like in the 5v5, HLE have so much dive. I think if the game is even with Gen.G's like, you know, peel tools like the Mordekaiser, I think they might struggle. But the expectation for Gen.G, leverage the Nidalee, leverage the setup that you have from like the Leona, get ahead, as we saw them do very effectively against D+. And then if they're ahead, I think HLE will struggle so hard to dive into them.
It's kind of that
the key difference is that we actually saw Duro reset before Delight did, move in, and we also had Keen to... Oh, that's big!
He took a turret shot. The flash on in, Viper! He elects to flash away as Duro's already here. Even the W goes wide. Viper just grabbing the ball. And Gen.G will immediately capitalize on that.
Okay, let's go back to what you were saying, Ox.
Yeah, I mean, Duro reset...
a lot of money, obviously, we'll get some experience. But if you're a Mordekaiser who's behind and the enemy team's playing dive, you're like, cool, as Chovy may be in trouble.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. They read this perfectly. Is Delight even waiting for him to flash away? Oh, he gets headbutt over the wall. Might not matter for these two Dash champions in Sejuani and Yone, and that immediately is HaNWAH Esports clapping back. They're still behind, but a very nice set play here from HaNWAH.
To fight for this. They have mid prio right now. Zeus roamed all the way up to the mid lane to help control that. And it looks like they are going to give this over Gen.G and just continue to farm. I like this call because you do not want to give this incredibly strong mid-game composition power before your Ezreal gets close to those two items. Just sit back and scale, play that boring Gen.G style, try to get incremental advantages elsewhere, and don't throw the game on grubs, please.
I will say, I feel like one of the mistakes was Zeus. I mean, obviously moving up to help secure Prio was good, but he had TP anyway. They were always going to have a numbers advantage. I'm not sure it was necessary, and it allows Keen to get a plate there. And I think Zeus missed a bit of CS, so, you know, it's a 600 goal lead between top laners. I obviously understand wanting to set up for the grubs. Maybe a little bit too much effort put towards it is making the top lane matchup even worse.
And I feel like, you know, getting the grub's always going to be valuable, but you really need to get ahead with your Camille if you are going to utilize it to a big way. You know, your Camille, your Yone are going to be your side laners, but currently they're both behind, as we can see. So we'll see how much value those grubs have as the game comes along. And
Canyon.
Yeah, he's gonna at least be able to dodge that one with a flash, but now put in the death chamber here is Zeus, but he's gonna go all the way to the edge. Here comes Duro though. Zeus in a bit of trouble. Can he hook shot away from this one? He is going to be blocked, and Duro will take him down for a second kill for Gen.G.
And you can see the plan from HLE was they spotted Canyon on a ward, try and chase him down, but Italy's just so slippery. The ult doesn't connect from Peanut, and then, you know, the
flash. His ult's not up yet though.
Yeah, I mean, trying to dive this guy. We'll see how it goes as Keen just getting bullied by 4 people.
7 seconds on the ult. He was so close.
It was a tight window.
Perfect, yeah.
It was a tight window. Well executed by HLE. Any later, that play doesn't work. So they managed to pull it off for the next set of grubs, which undoubtedly they want to try and deny at least some of those from HLE.
Keen does have his teleport back. He's going to utilize it to come back here to lane. And
you can't dive again. He's got ult.
Yeah, he has his ult this time, but they might just CC him to death. Oh, the Death Realm comes out right at the last moment, and now it's Peanut who's in trouble as Viper, he wants a kill, but look at that giant chunk of damage from the turret. Keen lives. That dive was not going to go well from the beginning.
It's the same thing we were talking about. He had his ult in the moment that happened just before where he was successfully dove. They wouldn't have been able to do it. He shows back up with it, so perhaps they weren't tracking his ult super well there. They almost burst him down. Like, it's so incredibly close, but man, diving a Mordekaiser like that is so high risk, and now you're giving over grubs for free as well.
The thing is, they just don't have that much damage. It's Alistair and Sejuani who aren't pumping tons of damage. Yes, they have the CC to hold them in place, but Viper doesn't even have one item yet. Just too hard to cut through that entire health bar in time, and now they're only going to give another kill over to Keen, but Canyo's able to pick up 3 grubs for himself and equalize that earlier. Dragon's still a minute to go, so Gen.G can possibly set up to contest that as well.
The way that Keen backs away from the tree doesn't have
we're doing it again. Okay. We're just bullying Mordekaiser. This is not very fair for Keen. I mean, he got his revenge, though, so that's nice, but this time will be taken out. Delight going to go into the ult even as Duro trying to get close to the turret. Kind of an awkward spot here for HANWAH.
But definitely a decent investment.
It could be Hextech, you know, and that would be massive for Ruler just setting up some chain slows. Same with the poke from the Nidalee. Very frustrating to play into. Either way, these are going to be very valuable individual Dragons worth of stats for this team to pick up early. So I really like the situation here for Gen.G. Sure, you dove Keen, you got him on that second try.
I think one of the things is that, you know, the Camille is such reliable.
We do have Viper nearby on this one. It is a 3v2 technically. Delight trying to set this up. He really wants to just get in range of the Leona, and he will be able to. In comes the Killer Instinct, and he is just dead. Not much hope for Duro there, who got himself in a rough spot, just trying to play some vision. As now the ult comes in from Toby. This is a 3v1. Maybe just assuming they left? I don't know. That was kind of strange. Toby gonna have to flash away.
He just wanted to see if he could hit it, you know?
He did. That was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it does keep them a little bit occupied there, but I guess, I don't know. I was thinking, I'm really trying to grasp at straws here for him. They are going to get the turret bottom side. They're TPing.
Yeah, they're diving this Chovy, who is alone. The TP of their own coming on in. Chovy's already so low, and he will be taken down. Keen able to go to the Death Realm here against Zeka, who is just fighting him, just dashing and mashing around. He will be fine until the very end, where Ruler will take him down. Zeus wanted more, but now red buff here for Ruler. He's going in with his E. There's the Solar Flare. Gonna force a flash here out of Zeus. HANWAH LIKE Esports did not want any more from that fight.
That was such an interesting interaction.
Oh,
wait.
There's vision here now, as you're trying to engage onto an Ezreal. Not an easy task, because, the stun with the auto doesn't come in from Delight. Will it be enough is the question. The passive, one more hit will do it. Viper gonna get the kill. And now we got Duro on the run. HANWAH LIKE Esports are just snowballing into more and more kills. More and more money. As Toby TP's in, he's gonna be a free kill, and Gen.G just fall over like a house of cards.
I mean, this is, I have a term for this, you know, we talk about this in any esports, trickling, going in one by one, hoping you're going to be the one to make the power play.
And then here, this TP from Chovy definitely backfires in that, looking for a bit more.
Here we go again. They just keep going in for it, and now Gen.G caught out again. Keen does not have his ult for 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Can he get it up? Will he even commit? As I think he tried to cast it, but it just didn't go off. Either way, he's, you know, the main thing that Coach Kim said, what was leading to them actually being able to defeat DK, and something they're focusing on big, is trying to cut down on mistakes. They were in the lead. They had control of this game. Gen.G should have been going into the mid game with a lead. Instead, now they just tripled and quadrupled down.
I think if you want to cut down on mistakes from game 1, I don't think you'll struggle for Gen.G.
Well, I mean, they're still looking to control this dragon here, which will be sole point.
Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. Peanut with the steal, just going to take one down as Duro being bounced around, but that is a Leona. A lot of damage going to the tank. They don't seem to care, though, as Duro is going to survive, but gets bounced back in just to die as a sacrificial lamb, as only Keen will get the 1 kill. But Viper just able to do whatever he wants, and the chase down from HANWAH's comp is big. Ruler, full health, though. Gotta be careful. Overextending. They don't have Viper. They don't have Zeus, as this game is getting down and dirty. And Ruler and Canyon should be able to pick up a bunch more gold to take it back.
Now, Gen.G made some big mistakes in the top lane, right? Double, triple, quadruple down, you mentioned it, but they had such a lead
And
early.
they threw it to HANWAH, who have now thrown it back. And now it's an even game. 20 minutes in, Otacon has spawned, and one of the best objectives to throw the game on, by the way, has been Otacon.
Yeah.
So speaking of throwing,
But I will say,
say,
too.
they have a Mordekaiser, so securing it is super easy. You know, you just ult the Sejuani, and there's no steal chance here for Peanut. It's just gone.
yeah, it seems like they almost knew it was happening. Like, Peanut came in to check because they're just kind of ignoring it.
And now they are going to try to trade this for Inner, but Zeus isn't quite going to get this before Keen shows up with Otacon buff here. Will be pushed away. Got a decent amount of damage to it. They also hard pushed that mid Inner. Weren't able to get that either.
Now they're actually engaging here. Not sure about this one, as it's only 3 members. Viper not here just yet, but the lineup from the Yone is big, as Viper doesn't elect to go in on that one, though. Keep in mind, they still have Otacon buff on the side of Gen.G. HLE Esports wanted to collect some gold, and it's actually going to be Gen.G who collects some gold, although Toby goes in, gives his life away, and now Yone, Zeka, looking for a bit more. He's unbound, not going to get it, and Gen.G will maintain the lead for now.
I think this is one of the problems, though, because, you know, I was thinking, right, they have Otacon, Baron's not up for a while, they could just give up Drake, what can Gen.G get? Because they have all this poke, and HLE's composition is very focused on engaging and diving. The only response is to AD
comp, so I don't think he really cares too much about his death score right now, and they're looking for another fight here on Dragon.
And guess what? HANWAH wants to dive in, goes to Light, finds Ruler in the back line, and this is what the Kai'Sa is so good at doing, at just assassinating this AD carry. And it really just comes all down to Delight finding that angle, as Gen.G really wanted to challenge them here on the Ocean Drake. Did not work out for them.
That was so slick, and Ruler was so dead. Viper even predicted him going over the wall with a Void Seeker, and he was actually a little early on it, and it didn't matter. Ruler still dies regardless. So HLE, that is the sort of engage you want with this composition. Commit, everyone's in, and Delight with a beautiful flash combo to find the enemy AD carry.
And it's a huge difference in prio between this Dragon and the previous Dragon. Ult is now for HANWAH. Hold up.
Speaking of which, yeah, ult comes in here. Zeka gonna ult to try to get in range as well. Toby in a bit of trouble, as the melee champ is going to lock down that permafrost, and down goes Toby. Couldn't even get away on
the
a
Dragon first instead.
And you know, I said the Ocean Soul was a low roll for Gen.G, and absolutely was. But for HLE, you're playing into an Ezreal Nidalee with a lot of poke. That Ocean Soul is going to have a ton of value.
They're going to pull the trigger here on the Baron. The Dragon's going to go down here for HLE Esports, but can they get here in time? TP coming in, but the damage is kind of insane. They are a bit locked in the pit, though, as this is happening. They try to ult into the backline here. Zeus is in a bit of trouble, but now he's got the peel. Goes in on a Toby. Toby, the first one to go down. And yes, the Baron went to Gen.G, but they're losing this fight big time, as Keen's going to go down eventually. We see Duro falls as well. Ruler desperately trying to get away, but the Void Seeker going to hit him. Might not be quite enough, though, as he barely scampers away from the Baron fight. So yeah, they got the objective behind HLE Esports, who were able to close the gap.
Yeah, now they're looking to put the pressure onto this mid inhibitor as well. At least the inhibitor turret. Ruler barely surviving there. Peanut hitting a fantastic ultimate onto the Ezreal there. Nearly takes his head off. And this is the first inhibitor down against the enemy team that has Baron, as the team fight is a walk.
Oh, very nice ult. Once again, Peanut's having the game of his life here tonight.
Back to back, he hit the one in the pit, which was arguably more skillful, but this one too, very surprising, very difficult to react to. Ruler is not able to avoid it. And, I mean, right now, HANWAH Life are saying, this is the beginning of the end of this game, pushing over into this bottom lane now as a 5-man, trying to get the second inhib.
Does that count as a Ruler spot? I do wonder. A little bit far down the lane, not quite the Ruler spot. Another engage here, pretty simple from the Light. And 5v4, and with this lead, it should be HANWAH Life just breaking down the front door and saying, thank you very much for letting me in, as here comes the second inhibitor to go down. And HLE Esports are on the doorstep of taking this game number 1. Jovi trying to run away. He's had a rough game here, 0-6, I believe, so far. And he'll have nothing to show for it at the end of this one. Down will go the Nexus. Eventually, when HLE Esports decide it, as they will buffer their KDA just a little bit. And HLE Esports take down the first game of the series.
Yeah, with the Ashe, big damage, works well with resets. If you get that cash in early, you just become unstoppable, but very low range and not very safe. into the Azir, into the Ashe. And it is just going to be the Xin Zhao here for Peanut to round this one out. They'll not cook it too much with this Poppy pick. And we'll leave the Poppy in the bottom lane. I think when you see the Nautilus lock in there, you feel pretty comfortable just pushing the Poppy into that bottom lane. And she's going to be an incredible potential setup champ when we come to 5v5 fights over objectives later on. Because if you can take away 2 parts or even 1 critical part like the Taliyah from this fight before it even breaks out, then Gen.G's composition becomes so much tougher to pilot because it needs to be all together to set up that single target blow up.
I think so much is going to be on the bot lane because the power of the Ashe ult and the Poppy ult, I think really when you're setting up objectives, you'd much rather rely on those. Otherwise, anyone charging like the Xin Zhao
work this time around. Let's hop into the rift for game 2. Game 2 of the LCK Cup 2025 Finals. And Gen.G, as I mentioned, they move over to the blue side. They had a good draft from the red side in Game 1, but some throws here and there, back and forth. It was a very chaotic game number 1. And we'll see if our teams take a little deep breath, can remove some of those mistakes, and have a bit of a cleaner contest in the second one.
Just playing respectfully here with this Ashe. Weren't fully grouped. It's more of a, I want to call it a 5-point start, but a little bit more split of a start here for HANWAH, and with Gen.G kind of balled up as a fist into this one. They could not actually contest. Scary when you get cut off like this with a volley, though, to an Ashe. They won't be punished for it, but when some of your players get the recall off and others don't, it's a disaster. That hurts too.
Didn't actually get to finish it off there. Oh, another sweeper. Okay, they're good. But the information is still there for Gen.G. You know at this time with Viper and Delight at the top side where they're going to end up going. And Gen.G happy to avoid them on the level 1 to no surprise.
I'm just such a purist, I guess. I really would have figured...
Game winning streak. Keep in mind that Duro is one of the guys that did win twice. He's not playing it this time. Chovy in a bit of trouble here. As Chovy trying to flash away from a Xin Zhao. That's not really going to work as Taliyah really struggles in this champ at the moment. As Chovy going to get some help from the jungle Canyon coming up. And now he's like, all right, I'm chasing you both down. He's going to be looking for Peanut, who is a bit lower. As Q just coming up. A little bit of burst into Zeka, but no kill pressure.
Control in general they have over the Grubs. They have both sides of the map under their power.
Trying to flash to make a play here on the Nautilus. Duro is getting quite low. There's the knockup from it, and the volley gets the kill. First blood to Viper, but immediately traded back as Ruler will get one of his own. And honestly, that just kind of feels good for Ruler, who is getting extremely fed at this point in time.
Yeah, bit of a misplay from Delight, but honestly, Duro countering him quite well. The interrupt on the dash, I think they expected, hey, quick kill, Poppy slam it in the wall, it's all good. But the delay means it's a 1-for-1, and with HLE, we're trying to find an advantage. It just ends up in a trade, and Canyon will look for those Grubs.
And now they get Grubs. There's no cross map. Like, Peanut was up on the top side. He's just trying to clear the rest of his jungle here after they give Grubs up. And they are going to be able to then rotate over, use the Taliyah to fight over Dragon as well. They have so much vision over the Dragon.
Oh, Peanut. Flash on in with the Harpoon, and they're just getting in there onto Peanut, who is in a really rough spot. Even the Taliyah wall making his way over. Gonna flash the wall, does Peanut. Zeka in an awkward spot himself on top of some rocks. They want to turn this one around. Going for the big sweep here onto Keen, onto Canyon, because they're trying to take down Peanut, but they can't quite do it. Even the sweep to save his life. It's a double kill for Zeka. As immediately HANWAH Esports find an angle and pick up 2 kills.
Gen.G led that play with such confidence there, but Canyon didn't have his ultimate, didn't have the ability to lock down Peanut and guarantee the kill, and HLE just moved to respond.
Look at Canyon's experience bar. Look at how close he is to 6. He doesn't have it. And it buys him a lot of space here. Zayas comes over, Peanut flashes out, and then they commit even harder onto the Xin Zhao, and Zeka is here to peel. And they're just so hell-bent on forcing this fight to work. They lose a lot of the advantage they had moments before.
I feel like it was such an opportunistic play where, like, clearly Canyon's about to hit 6. He's like, we'll pick up the Scuttle, I'll hit 6. Scuttle's gone, oh, Peanut's there. And then when Keen commits the flash, it's kind of like, well, we've committed flash.
Saw him actually. He's got a control word here.
Zeka's in a lot of trouble as Canyon just kind of waltzing on in, and you know Peanut was just there, so they're like, "Oh, this area of the map is clean." Gee, and that should be 6 Grubs to them. It's a nice little combo onto Delight. I think he's fine.
Should be here.
but
Fine is a strong statement.
Yeah.
He doesn't die.
He's
but,
okay for now.
he's alive.
Yeah.
He was not sent to the death chamber, but these grubs certainly will be, and that is going to be 6 grubs for Gen.G, the full stack. They got the dragon as well. Every single objective has belonged to them. Their objective control has been massive.
HANWAH Esports.
Yeah, it feels like Gen.G, you know, there have been some little mistakes in this game still, but it's a larger lead, and they're utilizing the pressure better. I feel like they have a lot more tools to make plays with as well. So they're doing that well, as Viper's going to get hit with the combo here, as Zeus is trying to make space in the front line, but that turret's about to go down, and Zeus might just die first, as in he goes with the ult. And, you know, he went down as a warrior, but he still goes down. Could have just tried to flash away, but instead he will just die alongside the tower.
I think Ruler was taking so long to kill the tower. Zeus saw an angle to make a big play, but he's not fighting. He's just done.
Yeah. Just feels like the blue side is really enjoying kind of getting very strong compositions and having it play itself out very well. And it's been Gen.G both times, though, that has been able to get leads and utilized it much better this time around. Duro, not expecting all of those players from HANWAH Esports to be quite that close. Meanwhile, big committal from HANWAH on the bottom side of the map, and Ruler's just going to take more turrets. He's playing a PvE game. He had to deal with the Cassante that one time. And, of course, dove Viper the other time. Gonna take down the turret, and now he's Valkyrieing in as Viper desperate to try to save the turret. It's not gonna work out for him.
Yeah, you guys are all bottom side. I'm gonna push the mid turret. Oh, you think you can defend the mid turret? 2,000 gold behind? I don't think so.
I mean, I feel like the worst sort of play is not just like, okay.
And this is just hopeful here, I think, for HANWAH Life to try to contest this Herald right now.
Yeah, I think for them, they have to send it at some point. They're gonna choose right now to do it. We'll see if it works out for them. The answer is absolutely not so far. Zeka does get here with his TP, but the fight's already over when Zeus gets chunked that much. And so the Herald goes...
You set up like a death brush or something. He's just been waiting here a long time.
Hello, he says, as in he goes with the Crescent Guard, and Chovy not having his flash. I don't think he's going to be able to get away from this one. So many members coming in, the Poppy ult as well. And that is a shutdown for Zeka, so the desperation pays off. There's no Baron. We're just talking about the objectives, what's not on the map. And HANWAH Esports are the one that go for the sneaky play and claw their way back in. The arrow going to hit Ruler. He's got Cleanse. He wants to try to shut down Viper, but now he's got to flash away from a Cassante as he's all alone here, desperate to try to take out Viper, and he will be able to. I feel like Viper absolutely should have just let Zeus handle that. Instead, he goes down in the tree.
That's definitely an example of an AD carry really wanting that shutdown, trying to hover around. You can see he was so back and forth about it, like, I don't want to get hit by the rocket. But in the end, it does end up backfiring. And, you know, you burn the summoners of the core keep, but you also lose your AD carry summoners. The play on a Chovy.
Shadowing here as well and trying to clear up some vision on the top side of the jungle. The moment he leaves, that's when Zeus strikes here. Well, I don't know if we'll call it a ruler spot in this situation since he did get the kill. But very far forward there after Keen left, and it's a really nice opportunistic move from Zeus. So two small
do something about that. Currently, their only damage dealer is Zeka.
Oh, no. Peanut.
He just got away. He got away with it.
And Peanut just showed bot. Oh, I mean, it's the worst possible timing. I was going to say, you know, Ruler having the most gold, being down summoners, potential for, like, you know, if you catch them on Arakan, if you're able to engage on them and catch Ruler, that is maybe a win con, but Peanut shows bot again, trying to kill Chovy. They lose the Arakan buff. Herald is pushing top. It's not looking good.
The X Factor is definitely the Herald here. I mean, you can't out-trade this.
They're even looking for a potential dive. I mean, Kenny's got Arakan, so certainly threatening it at least. The Light trying to create space and deny the Herald charge. It's not going to happen. That's one Azir turret and one regular turret to be taken down on the top side. So Gen.G really trying their best to snowball as much as possible. The arrow is very much on point as pulled back is Keen as the stun lasts basically forever, but that is just the Otacon buff taking down 200 gold over to their side as they take a bit of extra damage. Viper and Peanut thinking about continuing this fight, but a little bit, it's kind of been the same for a long time, but Gen.G, again, they're so good. They have been good, at least in this game. They've been clean about getting their lead and sticking with it and not overextending and really just trying to take little wins here and there. They're still very much in control of this one. They put down the Weaver's Wall, And that is a very nice equalizer as well.
Man.
That gigantic shove. Delight and Zeka taking so much damage, and it's up to Zeus to just try to create some space, but he's just going to be burned down. Another shove comes through. Crescent Guard has to be used from Peanut just to try to survive.
The one thing that HANWAH likely takes said 5v5 because the enemy team is diving in, taking somebody out of the fight, cutting them in half with Weaver's Walls, sieging with Otacon buff. When you're this far ahead, there is no 5v5.
Amount of damage is okay because you have this Azir, but that's not really the case right now. You know, they don't really have... The Ashe doesn't exist, and Zeka's not far enough ahead, and the whole team is too far behind. Canyon going very deep for this one. The Arrow even gonna try to punish that as they thought they saw an angle. And with Chemtech Soul about to be taken down here by Gen.G, HANWAH feeling the pressure. They know they gotta make some kind of play, but now down an Ashe Arrow, you gotta say Viper's really just not going to find much use in this one. We'll see if it doesn't exist, and Zeka's not far enough ahead, and the whole team is too far behind. Canyon going very deep for this one. The Arrow even going to HANWAH Esports jungler, and into the backline, they isolate Zeka. Nice sweep, but it's just to keep him alive for just a moment here. Should be a very clean ace to the side of Gen.G, and that should be the game number 2.
Yeah, even without the equalizer, so far ahead, they can easily win that fight. It was a beautiful buffer there by Canyon on the knockaway with his ult to lock them down, but I think the writing's been on the wall for a while in this game. Gen.G with a convincing answer for that game 1 that HLE won.
I love this draft from Gen.G. It's a standard Talia Vi draft, but there's so many elements of it that aren't expensive for Fearless. You played Nautilus, you played Corki here, and you know, at the end of the day, this is what a blue side draft should look like. The execution this time for Gen.G clean enough to take out the Nexus, and we've got a series on our hands here for the inaugural LCK.
It's like that period from when you sort of swap back to normal lanes. From then on, Kennen could be just really painful to play into. It's been kind of a go-to if had the LCK Cup into it, so potentially could lean in that direction, but...
Or another direction entirely. And just Zeri may not be enough. They might want more. It is the Vayne lock-in from Keen into this Aatrox.
This feels a little bit like karma for Zeus, because he's definitely done this to a lot of players in the LCK before, and now going to be on the receiving end.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. They have a pretty robust front line with Galio plus Galio ult in this composition. And there's a few ways to catch the Zeri. Like, you can catch her with a Maokai ultimate. If you can root the Zeri early on, like, that can work. But it is going to be very difficult to catch the Zeri. Having a secondary threat in these fights can be a big problem. I just wonder if, like, for HANWAH Esports, how do you lock this Zeri down? I think the fact that
draft. Let's hop on the riff and see how it all pans out. Getting hyped back behind us are the Gen.G fans, but getting ready now for this game number 3. Do we feel like HANWAH Esports did enough damage in this draft from the blue side? Because already we're seeing the blue side having a lot of power in these drafts. Do you also feel like this Vayne R5 is enough to potentially get Gen.G back and potentially stop that pattern of blue side winning?
I think it's a bit of a gambit. I think HLE have a lot of strong team fighting tools, and if they can stay grouped as a unit, I think Gen.G benefit better when the fights are very spread out. You know, like Vayne against 2 people can really shut them down and isolate them, but Vayne, you know, if a Maokai just flash W's you and other people are there, you'll go down. But I will say the big things that Gen.G should look to leverage, their mid-jungle 2v2 is stronger, and that top lane matchup is going to be hell for the Aatrox. The Aatrox is a good pick into the 4 picks that came before the Vayne. Not going to be fun playing Aatrox in a Vayne, even if you avoid the early level.
I like this level 1, though.
Keen doesn't have flash, so he is going to ghost, and he is going to just die. I mean, tries to go in there and create space for Canyon, but instead he's the one that eats the kill, and also Canyon is denied.
Zeus was he went straight to the bottom lane, and Ruler's gonna have to flash.
Wow. Not a good start. Well, probably not what they were hoping for.
They were able to group up on a Vayne that they know doesn't have flash. They sent the Aatrox bottom. Oh God!
Ruler just dead to electrocute! He got zapped out of the sky!
You buffed that enough, and I guess you could just kill a Zeri.
Hit from Canyon.
Well, he gotta try to do something, right? The Q will land, and he will avoid the Maokai. Zeka flashes, and Canyon This ends up hitting a minion, not able to get in range. And now Zeus is here again, just ganking mid? What can't this guy do?
This game is feeling like a bit of a Zeus diff at the moment, honestly.
But no stranger to playing the Galio in mid and stuff like that.
Canyon Lee Sin, I mean, it's Ruler Zeri.
Yeah, it's just that playing this comp from behind, it really is just that feeling of, it's okay, guys, we scale. Just wait for the inevitable late game, or maybe some mistakes from HANWAH Esports, but
it's the way that it happened, I think, that is the reason why it feels so bad, right? Like, the way that Zeus was able to kill Ruler in the bottom lane while he's trying to greed for those minions. You know, it's the way that they were able to catch a flashless Vayne in the top side. Because I still think this game is 100% playable for Gen.G. They're just one hand tied behind their back for now. They will scale, and if they can stave off the pressure a little bit more, there is definitely an angle for them to come back. They will grab this first dragon as well here. It's just, will we see further issues? Will we see this further snowballing here? Because Gen.G can recover a few good skirmishes for them, and they're right back in it. They have that global Galio. There's a lot of ways to bait HANWAH Life into unfavorable positions with this trap. They still don't have a traditional 80 carry in this trap.
So like level 6 is hit, and it's just a complete game changer for pressure in the lane. You know, Ruler definitely pressed it to kind of say, don't mess with me, but I think HLE really took the hint on that one and knew, you know, any missed execution and you're giving a triple kill over to Zeri. And we have the guy here who could certify that, so...
Yes, thankfully he is with us here on the caster desk, just in case we need certification. So far, did not pass the certification test, did Ruler.
It is looking less and less likely that we will have a certification in this game.
Yeah.
As we get closer to 12 minutes in.
But hey, you never know.
You never know.
They come at any time, sometimes when you never expect it. As they're setting up again. Here, this time, trying to get in onto Keen, and Keen, he's going to pop his ult, but isn't too late. He goes in Viz. But Zeus, down a flash. Is he in range? He's got Zeka with him, and that should be enough, right? Zeka? Okay, there you go. One auto, takes him down, still has 2 charges on a Spirit Rush against Lee Sin, and he should be totally fine.
I love how Zeka are just playing it beautifully. I feel like this is honestly solo queue accurate Vayne top. This is what happens when I see a Vayne top.
Our team, Vayne top.
Yeah, our team dies level 1, gets solo killed by the Aatrox, tells us, don't worry guys, we'll just scale.
Viper. He's trying to, as hard as he possibly can, now that he's picked up BT, to already start putting on a lot of lane pressure, and that's really what he's going to enjoy on this pick here. You know, again, not the traditional AD carry, but he picks up that early BT, he's very safe, and he will shut down mid lane and just hold it down for the rest of his team to continue with this this lead they have.
You know, we haven't been huge fans of the MF, but this is something she does really well, and why teams pick her, is once you have that BT, no AD carry can really contest mid priority against you, because even if they find a favorable trade, which is unlikely, you every wave.
You just, I mean, you have the shield, so you can take a turret shot. You have your passive where you can just juggle that new shot onto the Zeri repeatedly, and you have double up, which just naturally does a ton of damage. So you just kind of keep chipping away, healing up, getting your shield back, and it's Zeri just kind of pitifully trying to finish a cull so she can get that first item. Very close now.
Oh, man.
Keen, I mean, he might get flashed on here. Keen does not have flash. There it is, the Q, and the ult is not even needed.
He had to just commit his ghost and run away, I think, there.
Yeah.
But he waited so long, loses his ghost anyways, and still dies.
Step up, ever.
Yeah, and really what this amounts to is that HANWAH Esports with the lead kind of just get to do whatever they want. Again, as long as they don't make any big mistakes, although Delight is taking a bunch of aggro here on the right side, and Gen.G are moving in to potentially fight over this. Teleport's available for Zeka and Keen, but, you know, I don't think at this point you really want to teleport a level 10 Vayne with no items into a Rift Herald fight. It's not that meta.
Yeah, I also don't think...
You probably lose anyway.
I don't think Zeka needs to TP, so he's just very happy to keep Keen under a turret and continue to put that pressure on 2 levels up.
So HANWAH Life, they just have this lead, and it just snowballs out of control because Gen.G don't have any control at all.
Yeah, it's the classic, you know, 0-3 Vayne, TP's in, pops ult, tumbles, goes invisible, presses condemn, dies immediately.
What's my team doing? Yeah.
I feel like in this case, if he TP'd in, he would have like...
So much of the CC from HLE is cleansable, like the Maokai, just everything, the Charm from Zeka, the Delight Q as well. If Gen.G were ahead and you have the extra budget to pick up QSS, not just for Keen but for Ruler as well, on top of the cleanse, and his cleanse is regularly up, that is when it can feel really hard for HLE. But now, that's so far away, this CC is going to stick, and if they burn cleanse of Ruler, that cooldown's going to feel so long.
The extra dragon that Gen.G were able to pick up early on is so helpful in this game for giving them the longevity they need to potentially survive. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying it's very unlikely that they'll survive to Zeri being on 2 items and having a team fight they can take. I mean, she may end up getting a 2nd item in this game. I just don't know if she'll be team fighting with it in a 5v5 where there's a chance, where there's any prio, but you know, they could ignore this dragon, for example, and say, look, there's just no way. It's not possible right now. We're going to leave Keen in the side lane a little bit longer here. We're going to let him just catch it under inner. He will be more relevant later. And that's all you can do as Gen.G in this one. If you didn't have the dragon, though, and HANWAH for grabbing now Soul Point, you'd have 5 minutes less time to sit around and avoid fights here. So
this.
At that health, yeah, I think...
At this health, let's see. As the sweet spot's going to hit, he dodges the 2nd one, but the damage is in. The flash comes down in 1 auto. Zeus, I think he gained health on that fight. He gained health in the 1v1. Oh, you know, you give Zeri a moment. You give Vayne a moment. You're going to have a moment yourself as Duro and Ruler will hop away together, dash away. In comes the TP, they got that. As the flash comes in, they get behind Viper, and now may be able to take him down. There you go, the shutdown, but now here comes the massive team fight from the side of HANWAH Esports. They group everyone up. They don't have a lot of damage as the taunt goes in onto the Aatrox. There's the kill, but the Aatrox might just be enough from this far ahead, level 15. Ruler, though, the 80 carry still left alive. In goes Canyon. He wants to continue the fight. Zeus going back in against the 2 of them as he desperately wants to get on to Ruler here, but I just don't think he has the reach to do so. Zeka sticking around, winning the 1v1, and now chipping away at Canyon's health bar might have been enough as Ruler just doesn't have a front line to continue cutting this one out. A bit scary, but Gen.G gave it, you know, the old college try.
Can't certify that one, unfortunately.
Even though Ruler is cutting well, keeping space pretty effectively, it's so hard to approach, and he's just not cutting through this Aatrox quick enough. And I think this is just Dragon for HLE. I don't think Canyon can really do anything this time around. Doesn't have the flank angle.
Doesn't have the flank, doesn't have a flash. Not going to be able to get on top of Viper this time, and that's just Dragon, as you say. And now Zeka, ult back in hand for another potential angle. Gen.G need to be respectful here. I mean, Ruler does have his Runins, so he's like, maybe this is our chance back. Maybe this is our way back into the game. If we can take out one of these damage threats, we can front to back this, but just don't have the angle right now, unfortunately, to catch said threat. Look at Viper's positioning. He's not catchable. He's ready to ult.
It's been so much posturing around this Gromp. And really what it's about is obviously pressure for the Otacon. In they go, extremely deep. Here comes the fight, but actually a little bit broken up as Zeka desperate trying to take down Canyon. Finally, we see a condemn hit onto Zeka, but yeah, they just didn't quite have it. The charm landing. HANWAH Esports very much overextending for that play. They're not really able to get much for it.
Yeah, this is one of the things with Gen.G's comp. There is so much mobility. It can be tricky to pin them down if they are disengaging and running away. So HLE don't find the angle there. And now actually TP coming in, and I think...
Hey, I mean, I feel like we're going to give that cup an Otacon or a Chemtech soul buff. Maybe it's 13% full now. I mean, this is a good angle here. It's the best they're going to get.
So risky though, and Zeka was the lowest HP person. He's going to TP back in.
It's going to reset too.
Now, I don't know about this.
I mean, they can hold it for a while.
Just flip
Zeka has TP.
You know what?
Might as well.
It's a 13% full game. Just flip it.
Zeka's going to TP very far away though.
Yeah, I mean, this is getting relatively low, 5,000 health as Zeus has the angle. It's just going to come down to a flip. The charm goes totally wide, but in goes to light. Everybody's so low, and it does go the way of HANWAH Esports. This might is good for Peanut, and that should be the nail in this one, as the right side of the fight is heavily HANWAH. Chovy trying to desperately get away from an MF, who is about to strut her way over and try to take him down. And 1Q, 1 auto, not quite enough. As Chovy may just barely, he's going to have to flash that one as the rain comes down. He's still on the run. He's still on the run, and he gets his ult up, and there he goes down.
Otherwise, he dies before it's in range. HANWAH played that so patiently, not giving Ruler any chance, any room to breathe.
Zeri, and then he got a kill onto
3 entire levels up.
And then he got another kill. Yeah, he's 3 levels up. He's about to hit level 17 as well.
I mean, Keen played this game a little bit disrespectfully, but it's the early level 1 that gave him a little bit of an edge, and he ran with it, man. He got that solo kill crushed Keen in the second 1v1. I was just going in.
He's got Otacon buff. He's like, all right, I'm ready to rumble. Somebody fight me, please. I'm so fed right now. He flashes in, and this is looking like old Otacon buff. Making some room. Down goes Viper, though, as HLE Esports, he's taking a little bit too big of a bite there.
Yeah,
they're not going to get the inhibitor.
Wolf was talking a bit about Keen being disrespectful, and I think we just saw the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's a decision.
I mean, he could have flashed instantly out, but that would have been equally funny, I think.
I feel like they had the ending drops, the driplets of the Otacon buff, and they just desperately wanted to send a message or something. It looked funny. They're still going to win the game. They still have Baron for 30 seconds on 3 members. As TP comes in onto a turret, Chovy does get into the front of the fight as Zeus maybe trying to get another kill on the Keen here. He is going to have a bit of help from Viper, who flashes on in and gets some revenge himself. As down will fall the Nexus turrets. They have so many cannon minions that are empowered on this one. As this game felt like a done deal at minute 1, and HLE Esports will make it a done deal here at minute 30. As down goes the Nexus, they take the lead 2-1.
Zeus was such a talked about pickup for this team.
Here's this.
Well, it feels
Sion.
like we're going back to the very early days of League of Legends. Now, when we see the Sion, you know the Gnar, which was banned earlier, is definitely going to be the go-to pick here. I don't think there's anything else Zeus would like to play into this, except maybe Vayne. You know, maybe in the old days he'd be like, it's a TF angle. Yeah, the Gnar is going to just chunk and chip away at the Sion, and Mini can just kind of outpace him and get some advantages.
Could also just be mid Viego, which...
Wait for the swap. Wait for the swap before we... I feel like it's easy to speculate, but they tend to swap late.
Remember when Viego was a
Toby
solo
can
laner?
play it, you know?
I feel like
it's something that can work into Sylas. You know, I'm no expert on Viego versus Sylas matchup, right? But it feels like it would go better than Karthus mid, right?
Yeah, I feel like Karthus into Sylas is so difficult because Sylas has his dash and he can get on top of you with a stun. It's really hard to actually drop Skittles on him.
Well, we've seen some weird drafts, so we got another one as we hop into the Rift for game number 4. All right, here we go.
Karthus has Smite, so that answers that. I thought, like, the only other thing I could see is, like, for some reason, Canyon's like, I'm the Karthus master, let me play mid, you can play jungle. That's the only other thing that was in my head as we loaded into this one, but nothing that crazy. But remember, this is your tournament life on the line. This is LCK Cup on the line. This is first stand on the line to actually pull out the Viego mid. For the first time we've seen it in, what, 4 years? That is pretty crazy. That's pretty bold.
I feel like this is the thing where, like, teams have these picks that they, you know, they're ready to bring out should the situation arrive, but in a typical meta, we just don't normally see them ever come to fruition. The conditions aren't right. There's other more higher priority picks they take instead.
TPing away. He's like, buddy, he's a level 1 Gnar. He's going to hit level 2. And now already flashes away from the binding as Duro does take the aggro. Here comes the TP down to the bottom side. Keen trying to get in there and get aggro himself as there it is. First blood comes in and Keen even able to flash away. As clean as that, they get first blood for Gen.G.
Yeah, I honestly was wondering if they were just going to let Sion die and just go on a passive and just clean up on the turret, but this is such a huge blow to HLE because not only do they get Zeus with no...
Delight, he really wants to see what's going on here in the jungle. He's going to find out real quick that he will have to use his flash. Now, he does have to flash. At least he delays some backs and keeps
the area. Super tense moment here in the beginning of this game. Remember, Gen.G's permanent life on the line, and they actually are going to start to take this away.
I don't think that HLE can comfortably contest this with the fact that Chovy's level 6. Zeka only just hits his level 6 now, but like the power of the Viego, that spike is so big.
But Gen.G kind of just let it go. Like they went in, they got one and left.
Yeah.
So Peanut's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just take them down.
I guess the big thing is that they have both bot laners on the top side.
Yeah.
He definitely needs more items, I think.
Yeah.
Than the Sylas.
You know, one other thing about this, you know, when you look back to the draft, the bans against Peanut, he won't have Viego anymore either, by the way. Moving forward, if Gen.G win this game, we
no
go to 5.
paper, man?
Yeah. You know, just another small little fearless edge they were able to pick up. So
meanwhile, engage here on a Toby. Gonna respect the Zyra, just flashes out. You see Gen.G, they want to get as many grubs as possible. They'll get one. So deny another objective point. Some Life Esports look to close the distance, look to zone them away, but here comes Chovy once again as the Bard ult's going to sail very wide. Smite comes in. That actually went to Canyon, I think.
Yeah, I believe it did.
And so Peanut now down his smite, and now Canyon has to flash the wall. The Jin, though, helping out, keeping him around. They're just CCing them both to death as they both disappear. As in, Zeka is very deep, and he will be traded back. Ruler now, 1v3, Delight very low, and Chovy on the stolen Silas for a bit more. But I think maybe Viper got enough room here as, yeah, Chovy no flash.
Low XP in this game is
Zeka sneaking around the left side. Ruler in a bit of trouble. He doesn't have his flash, but they're just missing everything. The chains, they get cleansed, and Ruler dodges almost everything, but eventually, even though Zeka and Viper tried their hardest to miss.
Starting to become a bit of a theme here. And yeah, it wasn't pretty, but Zeka's just like, well, I run you down. Sorry.
I am still Silas, so eventually you're just dead. He played around vision excellently there, so props to Zeka. Even though the skill shots weren't there, the actual play was great. As Chains, they're getting themselves very close to Ruler, as in goes the Scion, going to take out Peanut. That is the punish, but here comes the follow-up from Life Esports. Very low is the Karthus. They take out Ruler as well, but the Skittle will hit onto the Mininar. Viper just going to take out Duro, who was very deep in there. That's a double kill to the Jin, who, with a Collector against this comp, so far this series, you know, we had Cloud Soul in the last one, which actually was pretty big. Duro in a lot of trouble here. He is going to go golden with his buddy there, trying to get over the wall. He will not be able to survive. Gets sniped on the backside. As Viper, he's making this Jin look overpowered in this game.
Well, you know, the magical journey has to end at the end of the magical journey. And that one's a pretty easy one to line up when you factor that in. And
it is a straight line, yes.
And so is Jin's skill shot, so well played. Viper is starting to take over this game, and I don't know if this Viego comp is going to work.
And there it is, another root comes in from the Jin. And against a Karthus, against a Varus, against a Bard, you're just feasting right now. It's so many kills and assists. He has been part of 7 out of 8 of the kills, and so has Peanut.
I mean, the value that they're getting from Viper on this Jin, the setup from the roots has really done so much for HLE in these last couple of passages of play.
Yeah, and this should be, I mean, we do have Chovy on the backside here. He is level 12, and Viper kind of in a rough spot, but a miss on the stun doesn't quite matter as the chains will hit, and that is a couple of kills. Chovy on the flank, they did not see this one coming. Even the Requiem going to be utilized here just to take the kill down. Gen.G strike back.
Beautiful flank coming out from Chovy. I feel like if he gets on the backline, and again, squishy comp falls over quickly, those tools aren't necessarily available. This game feels so volatile with just how much momentum each side can find so quickly.
It's just such a weird composition to put 3 Infernal Soul with some of those additional stats as well. To split 1-1 the first Drakes. As Herald is just going to charge through the mid lane. I don't know if they quite have enough damage to take it out, though, on this wave.
Yeah. Not quite able to get that, but this does open up this Dragon. Not a lot of vision here as Peanut. Oh, he's caught max range. He is able to flash out, though. But he has to utilize his ult. He doesn't have to, but he gets out of there. But again, none of that really matters. What matters here is that Gen.G get the Infernal Drain.
But I think, you know, Zeus doesn't have TP and is pushing top. I think the call from HLE was not to contest in the first place, so Peanut being that far up, far enough that he could get caught, it's just a mistake. Could have backed up earlier, could have given more space, and then he would still have his Summoner Spell and his ultimate. And instead, we're seeing Zeus. I mean, I think this trade is fine. They're still a long way away from Soul. A second Dragon's not going to do that much, just a small percentage of extra stats, and Zeus got 2 towers in that push.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to this Gnar. That's going to be a big threat, especially taking out this Scion later on. You have an 80 carry that went Collector first. Zeus?
I mean, yeah, he's still here. Says he's going to hop over the top, but look at this. Now we get the Requiem. Is it enough? Not quite, as he goes Mega as well.
Oh,
He'll
nice dodge.
barely survive. Very nice dodge there in the end. And now Chovy maybe in a bad spot. Level 14, can they punish? The TP is coming in. The Bard stolen by Zeka. Gonna keep Chovy around, but everybody's golden forever. As now Zeus not even get the timing down. And that's a kill from Keen to punish. Just trying desperately to take out Chovy is not going to work in this play. Gen.G pick up 2 kills. As now the knockup comes in on Akeem, but Viper can't do much damage to him just yet. It's just 2 kills to Gen.G.
And, I mean, it's a scrappy fight, but it's proactive plays from Gen.G.
At HLE Esports, they have their eyes set on this Infernal. And remember, guys, Chovy is not the jungler. He does not have Smite as the mid lane Viego, so he can't just kind of, you know, sneak this one away solo.
This is weird though, because I thought it would be a smart play, because Chovy can solo the dragon and threaten it. So you threaten that, and on the other side they take the Arakan, but Ruler wasn't in position, so it's just gone, and they're so slow to move over to Arakan. HLE should be able to get up here, I think, in time?
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a misread here from Gen.G on what HANWAH were prioritizing.
They get it.
They might be able to try to fight, though.
Almalife, they're just gonna let it go as
quick enough.
Yeah, just not able to quite get up there. They didn't have vision. I mean, you can assume they're doing it, but they get the Infernal, and now HLE will just have to play this game where they have to try to wait out for about 2.5 minutes. Silas, unfortunately, not having the impact he would like, as, okay, Duro just gonna kind of run by them, but they have Requiem, they have TPs coming into Light. His isolated flashes over to the Magical Journey, but again, they still have Otacon, so best you were getting was 200 gold out of Duro. Instead, it is a Delight that goes down. And Gen.G are really running away with this game now.
So a few resources burnt to ensure that your support gets out, but your support now has ultimate. So he's ready to set something up here.
Yeah, and they go. They already, okay, well, it's going to be Peanut who goes golden himself this time, but eventually just dies instead. And they're just getting bowled over. Still 25 seconds here on the Otacon buff. And they're going to lock down Viper on the backside there as, okay, nice peel from Zeka, going to go golden himself as well. Meganar gets denied. And again, still 14 seconds on Otacon. So Gen.G just pushing through and getting insane value out of this double buff. Maybe a kill here. You would have to wait 5 seconds, so not able to pick up the 200 gold either.
To take out this inhibitor turret. And there's just so much map control for Gen.G.
Flash on in, at least Zeka is here, but Peanut has just been farmed right now by Gen.G. 4 kills in a row, it feels like, as the Zyra not quite hitting the mark. And Gen.G just getting even more value out of their push. You can see the damage is already done by the Requiem, and you just have to back off. You only have 3 people there. Zeka not even here, finally gets back.
I mean, Chovy is just so huge at this point with Titanic and Death's Dance. He can just walk at them and set up for resets.
Well, Zeus is going to try to press some buttons here. He's not even able to clear the wave, and that should do it on this one. Chovy on the mid-Viego alongside of his team will be taking down this game number 4. And you guessed it, we will have Silver Scrapes here once again in these best of 5s as Blue Side reigns supreme 4 times in a row, getting the wins. Has even the stolen Bard ultimate on the wave, just desperately trying to stop this push. It might be able to now, but it's still 25 seconds on Zeus, and now 25 seconds on Viper. They get the stun here on a Peanut. He's got a Zhonya's, and low on health. Gen.G still not gonna back down. They will take this game number 4. And the problem for them really is that they'll be on red side for game 5. We'll have to see how that one does go as the series does get tied up 2-2.
Yeah, really strong performance from Gen.G. Found that momentum in the later stages. We're pretty quick.
Damage, though, as you say.
I think also works as a denial on top of that away from Chovy.
There's that Aurelion Soul I mentioned.
Yeah.
I feel like Chovy's so confident on this pick. He's won lane with it. He's dominated super early, even in the early laning phases. Smolder's still also an option here. I think the Aurelion Soul's the best one, man.
There it is.
Everybody is so low range outside of the Caitlyn. Yes, Victor has some decent poke and some decent range here, but he's also going to be very vulnerable, isn't very mobile, can be run down. As Aurelion Soul, you can just avoid his gravity well. You can harass him early in lane and start to build up those stacks. I love this pick for Chovy in this draft.
And the thing is as well, like, to shut down Aurelion Soul, you get on top of him, you CC him, but like, the whole game plan of HLE and teamfights is just run at them, which is a perfect scenario for him to drop down the singularity and just kind of be like, you can't run through that.
Also, I feel like this gives them supreme late game win condition,
Absolutely.
right? Because if you look at what you have Ornn and Jinx already. They were already playing for that. Now you just add Aurelion Sol on top of that, even though you're at the LCK Cup. Let's hop onto the Rift and finish it off right now. Here we go, game 5. It all comes down to this. Who will be representing LCK at the first stand here at LOL Park? Who will be taking down the first ever LCK Cup?
And who won't be? You know, we'll lose 5 of these players at an international, you know? Like, I'd be happy with either team with the performances we're seeing from these guys in playoffs. And the fact that we have to grant only one of them the championship here for LCK Cup and send them. Feels sad at the same time. Remember, both these teams went to Game 5. Last time they matched up with only Ox predicting HANWAH's win in the summer playoffs, and they got it done. Maybe Gen.G can settle the score here in this 5th and final one.
The last 3 times they've matched up has gone to Game 5 as well. The earlier one they had in this tournament. It feels like they're
getting a ton of money. You can look at the goal difference between these two AD carries, still relatively even.
Oh, Keen, he's going for it. He's trying to get in there. Oh, he just wants
on it.
A little smidgen of XP, and he will get in.
Duro, I don't know.
The only issue is that, yeah, he hits level 2, but he's still dead. So first blood is given over, and now maybe
Wait,
Duro,
they might just be able to take... It's so low. I think they'll back away with Canyon being there. But
yeah, it's not like Zeus was going to do anything in bot, so he's like, oh, I'm just going to go top, and we'll just get more plates. Meanwhile, Gen.G get their turn to get some money down here.
This feels like OG lane swaps we had back in the day, where it would just be exchanges of turrets on the other side of the map, and you know, you wouldn't get as many interactions as we see with the top laners trying to defend and then getting dove. Jinx obviously very fast at taking these towers here, but Gwen helping the Caitlyn to keep pace.
We'll see what happens when the Gwen actually starts getting involved in PvP. As I was gonna whiff on Zeka, but does clear the wave.
It wasn't quite cataclysmic, that one.
No,
you know.
But like Zeus is 650 gold ahead of an Ornn, but doesn't have a ton of money necessarily. Still has a decent amount of money from all these plates, but isn't going to just automatically going to be, because she's 650 gold over the Ornn, able to start really side laning super hard and pulling Gen.G around the map, but does end up getting a decent amount of money. And now the gold lead evened out until this turret goes down between the 80 carries. Who should be able to pull ahead just a little bit here now after this one does go down. But pretty even early game. Both of these compositions.
But essentially, Kennan's job is to create space with this pillar for the carries. That's what he's doing in this game.
And we see the TP come bot. Zeus wants to continue the pressure onto Keen. It does mean they're sacrificing these grubs. Peanut might consider trying to steal one, but I think it's too risky.
He thought about it, but at the end of the day, just gonna give this
so
up.
low. He can't. Not only can he not walk up to it, but you see Zeus waiting as much time as possible to deny that cannon's gonna die.
Can't get anything.
Oh, this is so sad.
He's a conductor without a train. Well, Chovy is farming well, as was indicated earlier, and he is stacking quite nicely. He's up to 82 now.
Keen was given the scraps. He got a control ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than not a control ward. 44 CS the difference.
This is one of those moments where Chronicler backstage is like, he should buy a support item, and then he's gonna be like, I'm not kidding, he should buy a support item. I can hear a Chronicler saying it backstage. He's got like his hands on his head, he's like, I'm serious. We see these games so rarely, but it does happen.
At least Keen has got it pulled to his turret. We have Ocean Soul.
Zeus very far behind as well with the lane swap.
Oh, could get a fight coming in here. We do have the charged ult from Chovy and Gen.G moving in.
Yeah. It's not going to be incredibly strong at this point, but at least he's level 11, and he's well farmed, right? So they have to respect it, and I think HANWAH Esports might just do that. If they're not going to respect it, they got to TP the Gwen. There it is. That is a very nice angle. As the smite isn't there for Gen.G, and they immediately just have to evacuate. They TP the Ornn in.
I think that was a mistake. I think it was pretty clear that they were out.
Yeah.
And I think they could have just... He could have got a couple of CS. He could have doubled his farm.
We'll try to make something out of it here.
That's rough, man.
The ult looked cool.
I mean, if you like
Look on the bright
ults
side, guys,
that fly through turrets, sure. I look at this situation and I'm like, I see why Gen.G want to fight, because their comp actually can, if they get a single pick in an overextension for HANWAH, get those resets and pop off. They have the empowered Aurelion Sol ult, but they weren't in position. They committed to backing away. And so, yeah, like you said, Ox, like, Keen should have just stayed and cut some more farm.
Yeah.
Or they should have committed more heavily. It was really scary because Zeus was also on the flank with his teleport. His teleport was more relevant. And if Gen.G had last minute decided to hard force there, it could have been even worse.
The thing is as well with the Ornn ult, if you're using it at a long range against a Karma, a Wukong, it's so hard to actually hit. The movement speed from the Karma makes such a big difference, especially with Shirelias as well. You use your Mantra shield plus Shirelias, easily dashing out of these situations.
Maybe a little catch here. Delight getting pretty low. A chance for a ult. Rocket hits him.
Chovy could have committed his ult there, I think, to actually get the kill, but thinks it's
for Chovy.
You know, honestly,
that would be huge. That would be a huge swing, even though we are talking a lot about the late game in this one.
Oh, this is big.
That's a turret.
Power. Yeah, getting mid tier 1 against Aurelion Sol. Definitely nice.
And Chovy's also could have ulted that, but is similar to what we were talking about before. He's like, this ult is just too empowered and too powerful to waste for something like this.
It genuinely could be a situation where if Chovy ults the mid wave, HLE see that as a signal to like start up Arakan or definitely the Dragon. TP coming in from Keen never gets to farm. Sorry, bro.
We have a level 11 Ornn who is looking to party. We got another TP, but it's very late as Chovy only gets here now. The Drake's already gone.
Man, some slow macro moves here from Gen.G. They could try to turn this into Otacon, though. They have a ton of burn with this.
A ton of damage.
Yeah, with this Aurelion Sol, you just hold Q.
They can kind of zone them out as well. Ornn, Aurelion Sol, a lot of space control, and HLE Esports is just going to say, okay, take it. They don't care.
He's pushing hard, and I mean, that turret is basically just going to disappear.
I mean,
it's gone.
They are giving away Otacon for free, so that's going to be Gen.G taking down Otacon, but mid-inner is the trade here for HLE Esports.
Thing is, you know, they need Ornn to be there to set up the engage, but he's also the one who has to answer the Gwen. Like, Otacon buff, in and of itself, it only lasts for 2.5 minutes. What can you translate it to? Because just getting the buff alone isn't worth it. You need to get something else. Baron is going to be up while it's still available, but it's risky to end up in the pit against HLE.
I think they want to try to force a pick here, but it's so tough. And I kind of agree with you, Ox. I feel like the inner turret might even be more valuable.
Viper, really awkward spot here. He's getting burnt to a crisp, and that would be worth with the empowered ult is going to hit him. They get the flash. That's out of the Caitlyn.
That's kind of for me like...
And eventually they have to press their buttons at each other, right? Somebody has to go in and do something. It just feels like, as we've talked about, they want to scale, but here we go. That's a button pressed as they're not really going to hit anything. But they pressed their buttons, guys. That's something. And now Gen.G have to run away from the massive Gwen that is doing a lot of damage, but they just flash out of there.
That may just be Baron. I mean, everybody's super low here. Gen.G have to back away.
They got Ornn flash, they got Chovy flash, and now, the knockup with the pillar. You see the coordination with the Trundle and the Ornn. And it's just some low health bars. I don't think HLE Esports can start up the Baron. Giving this for free.
Zeus, Zek is TPing over just to join them in the fight. Zeus is on this flank angle, which is so threatening, and this would be Sol for HLE if they can secure it.
This is such a tense moment here. This game, like you said, Valdez, about to be blown open. Both teams so scared of what it means.
Yeah. You see the traps are setting down. It's really corralling Gen.G into an awkward spot. Chovy on the flank here himself, just threatening Peanut, but so is Zeus on the top side, as we talked about. Ruler's really got his mark on him up there. Here comes the Ornn. Peanut in the pit is going to be forced out. As they try to burst it down, they just want to take that one as a big knockup comes in into the Chovy ult. They get Peanut, and Peanut's taken down, but what is the cost? Chovy is going down super low as it is stolen away. No Ocean Soul comes in. Gen.G now on the run, just trying to disengage, and they will be able to. Chovy, though, not sure about him.
He should be able to get out in this. I think he has time.
Oh man, Chovy played that on the edge, living with what looked like sub 100 health there.
It doesn't matter that he's lacking that summoner spell as much as Zeka. No flash.
Okay, going to be denied there. Chovy's eating turret damage as well. They immediately call off the play. And Gen.G, they got the turret, but
that might be a Baron call.
Look at the bottom lane here. Yep. We do have Zeus just pushing with TP.
I think you can just play for time here if Zeus is getting this pressure in the side.
Someone has to answer, though, and it is going to be Keen for now. He doesn't have teleport, but Zeus could just come over here, and this Baron will disappear. Chovy doesn't have TP, he can't back.
but he does have the Mega Ult, which is so dangerous to play against in this situation.
They're trying to mark him here. You see Zeka gets the vision. Will they commit to this? It's really up to Canyon.
So
He's going to have to flash over. As here we go, ult is called down in the burst. It goes to Peanut. He lands that smite. As now HANWAH Esports is trying to disengage. They're just trying to get away. All the flashes burn Delight, and Peanut is trying to get out of here. But Toby is going to pick off one.
He's reset. He's not going to chase too far though. It's just too risky.
Down here, Gwen's hovering around though, not being split from them, which means an engage isn't even that viable of a strategy since Gwen is there.
Yeah, you can see that there was one auto from Viper onto Chovy. He is already chunked out. Both these 80 carries just beginning to hit some big items, you know, 3.5 for both of them at this point in time. So, I mean, somebody's got to face check. Somebody's got to get in. Zeka's doing that damage. Chovy's going to get stunned up by the Victor.
Chovy's dead!
And he's down! And now it's all up to Ruler, but immediately the Ornn goes down.
Can't kill anybody.
I mean, Ruler's chasing desperately onto the Gwen, but there's just too many people that they got to deal with. He's able to kite it out as Zeka's mom is cheering. She is extremely happy with the current situation, obviously.
I mean, they're pushing mid.
Yeah, if they stop them from recoiling, they could even look for an end. It looks like they found an angle to get Ruler back.
They've got to buy time for Chovy somehow. He's the one who's got the best wave clear here. And this is a Gwen, a Fett Gwen. I don't know if they can defend this.
There is a lot of wave clear as a pillar. I think they take the inhib and they just go to Dragon. I think that's a call. Chovy and Keen have TP though. Do this, they need a reset or they need to be fast.
Yeah, Zeka and Zeus can TP towards that base if Gen.G try to drop this wave and contest the Dragon. I think there's just no way they can contest the Dragon. They're going to simply have to give this up. There's no ward in the base or anything like that.
Yeah, the Ocean Soul definitely nice. The sustain definitely useful, but it's not a game ender. And
I mean, with this Aurelion Soul, it's one of the only champions in the game where you can go, okay, we'll just give Baron because I think we can deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, he just holds the wave.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Nah. They saw it coming a mile away.
Peanuts is not a chance.
Not today.
And I think that
one mistake, one reset for Jinx, and this game is easily Gen.G's. So, yes, advantage for HLE right now. And it looks like the Gwen is going to capitalize on that and take the inhib. Now things start to get scary.
Yeah, it's got to be triple inhibs, and then the minions do the work.
Well, at least their Nexus turrets can respawn. Don't know if we'll get to
Not
that
if the Nexus
spot.
dies, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they've set up Chovy to hold down on one inhibitor. They're gonna make their final stand here on the one inhibitor, and that's it.
I almost start to feel like Gen.G are gonna have to make a risky, proactive play here, or they're just gonna get grinded out of the game.
Yeah, they couldn't even do that.
And I just don't think their composition really allows for it at this stage.
It's so hard because all sums are for HLE. If you throw in the Ornn and someone flashes it, you have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, all you have is a pillar otherwise.
All right, well, Chovy's gonna press some buttons here on the Delight. That's a big chunk, but it's not enough. You gotta get some kills here. Zeka is doing insane damage himself. They're cornered with their backs against the wall. Gen.G desperate to clear the waves, but they're losing health before they can even do that. The pressure might just be too much. As look at the Nexus turrets, bit by bit getting chunked out.
They have to go.
They gotta go, in they go. Ruler, he is gonna flash away as a big bomb comes out from Chovy, but I don't think it's enough. Zeus is gonna open it up, and out come the needles as they chip away at that front line. HANWAH Esports looks like they have finally done it in a grindy game number 5. They will take the first ever LCK Cup victory.
They managed to do it again. They managed to take down Gen.G one more time. When we talk about Gen.G, as this team was reigned over the